My name is Michelle. I remember that autumn distinctly, a strange, unsettling season. An evening thick with the scent of falling leaves, hinting at cold, dark nights ahead. I sat alone in the sunroom, a space usually bright, now vast and hollow around me. My husband, Harry, was away on an archaeological dig in the Andes, a remote, demanding project. It would keep him gone for 5 months. 2 months had already passed since his departure, and the quiet weight of his absence pressed down on me, heavy and constant. A sudden click of the back door startled me. I hadn't realized how deep I was in thought. The house's silence was almost a physical presence. I sat up on the wicker couch, my eyes tracing the fading light. There, framed against the twilight, stood my son, Isaac, 18, on the cusp of adulthood. But something in his posture, his slumped shoulders, his hands clenching, told me immediately that something was wrong. "Mom," he called, his voice low, strained, cracking the quiet dot. My heart fluttered. "Isaac, what's the matter?" I asked, my voice soft. He didn't answer. He just stood, a silhouette against the dimness, his gaze fixed somewhere beyond me. After a moment, he moved, stepping fully into the sunroom. He seemed hesitant, as if the air was a barrier. I can't settle," he finally said, barely audible. His voice was rough, a knot formed in my stomach. Isaac was always meticulous, steady. For him to be so unsettled, so late, meant something serious. My chest tightened. I patted the cushion beside me. "Come here. Sit down," I urged gently. He hesitated, then moved slowly, settling onto the edge of the couch. A careful distance between us. He leaned forward, elbows on his knees, his dark hair falling over his forehead. His fingers worried at his t-shirt hem. I watched, waiting. "Isaac, you know you can tell me anything, no matter what," I prompted, trying to sound calm. He let out a shaky breath, the full weight of his struggle seeming to pour out. It's hard to put into words," he began, voice low. "I haven't been feeling right. Not like myself. Everything feels off, and I don't know what to do." His confession sent a cold shiver down my spine, a prickle of unease. I kept my voice even, a calm anchor. "What do you mean? Not like yourself?" I asked. He finally lifted his head, his dark, troubled eyes meeting mine. The intensity was startling, a raw vulnerability. Not a worried teenager, but something deeper. "It's about someone," he whispered, words holding undeniable force. "Someone I can't stop thinking about. Someone you would never, ever expect." Relief, immediate and surprising, washed over me. I felt a lightness. My first thought, a complicated, unrequited crush. He was always quiet, internalizing emotions. Relationships were new, daunting. He bottled feelings until they burst. This was just that pattern. "Okay," I said, a genuine smile forming. "So, who is she?" "A girl from school. Someone new." I tried to sound playful. He shook his head, a quick, violent motion. "No, then who?" "Isaac." "Tell me." The playfulness faded, replaced by impatience. He took a deep, ragged breath, his gaze locking onto mine. It made my breath catch. His lips parted. He spoke, voice faint, broken. It's you, Mom." The world seemed to tilt. His words, soft, struck me like a physical blow. Air stole from my lungs. My mind went blank, a terrifying void. I couldn't process it. My son, my beautiful, complicated boy. The impossible, unthinkable, just uttered. "Isaac, what are you saying?" I choked out, voice thin, trembling. He launched off the couch, pacing the sunroom's polished floor, moving with a caged animal's restless energy. His hands raked through his hair, a gesture of profound distress. "I know it's wrong," he blurted, voice tight. "I know how it sounds, but I can't help how I feel. I've tried. God, Mom, I've tried so hard to push it away, to ignore it, to make it disappear. But it won't. It's always there, humming beneath everything." My heart pounded. I sat, frozen, staring, speechless. As I opened my mouth, he cut me off. Don't tell me these feelings aren't real, he pleaded, eyes wide. Don't tell me I'm confused. I've never felt this way about anyone. Not like this. It's not just infatuation or admiration for you as my mom. It's something deeper, stronger. Isaac, I said, trying to steady my voice. What you're feeling isn't love in that way. It can't be. Yes, it is. He nearly shouted, voice cracking. He stopped pacing, turning to face me. You're the only one who truly sees me, Mom. The only one who understands my mind. You make me feel like I matter, like I have value. If that's not love, then I don't know what is. I tried to absorb his words, to make sense of the raw emotion. Feelings I couldn't comprehend, defying every boundary. Yet, as my rational mind reeled, a strange, illicit spark flickered deep within me. Something unexpected stirred, a sense of excitement. I immediately suppressed it, burying it beneath layers of maternal duty. This was confusion, surely. His youth, his intense emotions, Harry's absence all combining into something misguided. You're just confused, I reiterated, my voice gaining a desperate conviction. You're going through a lot. Harry being away, everything changing. I'm not confused at all, he retorted, voice unwavering, gaze piercing. I've never been more certain. His eyes brimmed with unshed tears. He clenched his jaw. Watching him, I felt the palpable intensity of his attraction, a silent, powerful current. To my horror, I didn't want to look away, but I was his mother. I had a responsibility. I had to ignore this insidious pull. These feelings will pass. Isaac, I told him gently. They're intense now, but they will fade. He looked at me, a desperate plea. What if they don't? What if this is how I'm meant to feel? What if it never goes away? For a bee, my composure crumbled. I couldn't speak. Then I rallied. We'll figure it out, I promised, taking his hand. His skin was cool. We'll get through this together. I'll help you. He stared at our joined hands, then lifted his gaze. I just don't want to lose you. Mom, he whispered, voice thick. You won't, I said, squeezing his hand. No matter what, I'll always be here. Always. I held his hand, rubbing my thumb over his knuckles. The sunroom was near darkness, only faint moonlight. Come on, I said, rising, pulling him gently to his feet. Let's go. Why don't you sleep in my bed tonight? Just like when you were little. Maybe that will make you feel better, he nodded. He followed me. We slipped beneath the covers, the familiar scent of my pillow suddenly charged. I lay with my arms loosely around him. In the close warmth, I felt a familiar, unwelcome stirring, a ghost of something I couldn't name. I pushed it down, deep, refusing to acknowledge it. Good night, Isaac, I whispered. He murmured good night back. We lay side by side. Deep down, a silent voice told me this wasn't the end. There would be other nights. And they would. I knew with chilling certainty, and very differently, that night. Beneath the thin veil of silence, nothing overtly happened. Yet, the air between us crackled with unspoken potential, a lingering tension. I knew, with certainty, that this was far from over. The morning after Isaac's confession felt surreal. I moved through the house in a fog, trying to resume chores, hoping they would distract me. But my hands trembled, my mind racing with impossible questions. The soft scrape of a chair in the kitchen broke my daze. Isaac was there, hunched over untouched cereal, eyes wide, vacant, shadowed by exhaustion. His hair was a tangled mess. Sleep had evaded him, and me, good morning, Isaac, I said, my voice detached. He looked up, mumbled a barely audible morning. I poured coffee, sat across from him. The silence was oppressive, thick with unspoken words. An awkward, heavy silence. Finally, I spoke. About last night. He interrupted instantly, voice low, resolute. I meant what I said. Mom, every word. That's just how it is. I closed my eyes, taking a shuddering breath, trying to keep calm. Isaac, I appreciate your honesty, but this is not something we can act on. We simply can't. He shifted, visible frustration. Why not? He demanded, voice edged with anger. I searched for words. Because, I began, choosing carefully, it's about doing the right thing. For both of us. This could hurt us deeply. My tone remained calm. He clenched his jaw, eyes darting away. I don't want to hurt you, Mom, he said quietly, anger replaced by sadness. I know you don't, I replied, reaching across to cover his hand. A familiar gesture, now unsettlingly intimate. That's why we have to find a way to move past this. Isaac, for all of us. He barely squeezed my hand. I don't know if I can, he whispered. But I'll try. The days blurred into a monotonous, uneasy pattern. We moved around each other like strangers, orbiting, but keeping distance. When interaction was forced, we spoke of trivial things. Isaac retreated further, spending most time locked in his room or out of the house. I convinced myself it was for the best, distance for him to sort emotions. But I missed him, our old camaraderie. Our nights were still spent in separate beds, a silent agreement. The house felt hollow, echoing Harry's prolonged absence and Isaac's self-imposed exile. One evening, peeling vegetables, Isaac appeared in the kitchen doorway. My knife paused. Mom, he started, voice quiet, hesitant. There's something I need to talk about. Okay, Isaac, I replied, turning, heart quickening. Go ahead. He stepped closer, leaning against the counter, not looking at me. I've been thinking, he admitted, gaze fixed on the countertop. I'd rather have you in my life as only my mom than not have you at all. I don't want to lose you because of this. Profound relief washed over me. The tension evaporated. Oh, Isaac, I breathed, stepping closer, pulling him into a hug. He felt stiff, then slowly relaxed. You don't have to worry about losing me. Never. It's just really hard, he murmured. I know, I said, pulling back. It'll take time, but you will get through this. I'll help you. Always. The assurance felt sincere. The heavy atmosphere dissipated, replaced by fragile hope. I truly believed things would be okay. Isaac slowly emerged. He joined me for meals, and we watched movies or worked on small projects. We even spent an afternoon in the old workshop in the detached garage, sorting Harry's unused tools, a pleasantly normal task. One quiet evening, I found him in the study, slouched in Harry's worn leather armchair, staring blankly at the unlit fireplace. The room felt charged. Are you all right? I asked, settling on the rug. He shrugged. Yeah, just thinking. About what? I prompted, voice light. Us, he admitted. Soft intrusion. Always about us. A sharp knot tightened in my stomach. Isaac, I said, voice tight. I thought we were moving past this. We agreed. I am trying. Mom, I really am, he said, looking at me, eyes clouded with yearning. But it's not that simple. I can't just turn it off. We have to keep working on this. I insisted, firmer, reminding us of boundaries. For both our sakes. He leaned forward, gaze intense, piercing my resolve. But have you ever thought about it? Mom, really thought about what it would be like if the both of us were together? What if it's supposed to be this way? His question, so direct, disarmed me. Don't lie to me, Mom, he said, firm, unwavering. He knew, even though I had, in moments I dared not acknowledge, allowed my mind to wander to such forbidden thoughts. I wasn't sure I could admit it aloud. It doesn't matter if I've thought about it or not, I said, trying to regain control. All that matters is doing the right thing. His face fell, hope in his eyes extinguishing, replaced by sadness. He got up, movement stiff. I'm going out, he said, turning. Where are you going? I asked, panic seizing me. To take a walk, he replied, without looking back. And then he was gone. I was afraid to tell him the truth. Afraid to confess that something fundamental had shifted within me. I had realized I felt something too, all this time. A deep, insidious current beneath my denial. The hours he was gone stretched. I sat by the study window, watching for his return. I heard the muffled click of the back door just before midnight. A breath I hadn't realized I was holding escaped in relief. I rushed to the hallway. My voice trembled as I asked him where he'd been. Walking, he said. Head bowed, shoulders slumped. You can't just disappear like that. Isaac, I scolded, fear hardening into exasperation. He sighed. I needed time away to clear my head. We can't keep going on like this. It's tearing us apart. Maybe we need professional help. I ventured, words hollow. He refused immediately. No one can help us. No one can change how I feel, or what's happening between us. I wanted to argue, but deep down, I knew he was right. The worst part, I still hadn't told him about my own feelings. I had been lying, trying to avoid the inescapable truth. I just wasn't ready. The next few days were a tense ballet of avoidance and forced conversation. Isaac tried to act normal, but the suffocating tension was undeniable. It permeated every room. I knew, deep in my bones, that something was about to happen. A breaking point. One evening, we were clearing the old workbench in the detached garage workshop after a minor repair. Isaac had been unusually quiet. Then, he broke the silence. Mom, he said, quiet, raw. I just can't do this anymore. I can't pretend these feelings don't exist. Not when they're so real. My mind flashed back to recent nights. The touches. His hand brushing mine, my hand resting too long on his shoulder. Subtle, yet intimate. He knew. I have a confession to make, I said, voice barely a whisper, yet unnervingly calm. I think you've noticed what's been going on. The touches. He looked at me, a flicker of hope. The touches, he repeated. I assumed they were just to relax me, to make me feel good. No, I replied, shaking my head, allowing the dam to break. No, Isaac, they were because I realized I have the same feelings as you. I've had them. I was just afraid to admit it, afraid of what it meant. I looked down. He gently placed his hand on my chin, guiding my head up until my eyes met his. And then we began to kiss. Intense, desperate, a release of weeks of pent-up desire. A kiss that devoured all my reservations. After that, still breathless, we moved toward the small utility room with an old mattress. We stripped in the dim light. I smiled at him, a genuine, unburdened smile, as I pulled on a nightshirt and he brushed his teeth at a rusty basin. I got onto the mattress, and he joined me, pulling me close. I turned off the single bulb, plunging us into comfortable darkness. Good night, I murmured. Good night, he whispered back. We settled. I pulled him closer, his body warm. We began kissing again, slowly at first, then with renewed urgency. Then we ended up doing more than kissing. I let myself go completely, losing myself in the dizzying sensations. I had never felt more alive. Everything that had worried me, all the confusion and guilt, vanished. It was a profound, liberating relief to finally not feel confused anymore when we were done. Lying tangled, Isaac looked at me and smiled, pure contentment. The next few weeks passed in a strangely peaceful blur. The house, once heavy with tension, felt lighter, imbued with a new, secret current. Eventually, Harry returned from his sabbatical, oblivious to the profound shifts. I decided not to tell him. Isaac, too, found new equilibrium. He began hanging out with friends more, returned to neglected hobbies. I slipped back into my routine's errands, household management. Isaac and I never spoke about what had happened. It became a silent, shared understanding, a private world we inhabited. I tried my best to keep busy, to not think about it, to let our lives flow on, seemingly undisturbed. But I knew it was always there, just beneath the surface, waiting.